Hi, I'm Heidi Larson Hurley, and we're here for another Exploring and Creating with Heidi. This is going to be so much fun. You know how excited I was about crayons? Well, this time, this is like my favorite thing. I love to sketch. I love to do cartooning and illustrations. So today I'm going to say, just show you everything. I am just really, really, really excited about it. One of the things that I'm really excited about, because we're back to crayons, I'm going to use crayons for this. I'm going to use a black marker. So I'll go over the materials with you, but this is more of a story and it's a process. And some people aren't really comfortable with sketching or drawing, but it's a great practice to get into. In fact, if you sketch a day, one a day, like your coffee cup, I used to give that as an example. Sit down, sketch, you'll get better and better and better and more confident with your drawing. So this is what we're going to be doing today. We're exploring and creating with sketching, and we're going to do some cartooning. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. First of all, no mistakes. All right? There's no such thing as a mistake. If you goof, turn it into something. That's what I always like to say. And I'll be doing a lot of that today, I'm pretty sure. I want you to explore, try some of this out. I want you to have that aha moment. On Thursdays, I have an open studio at the Art Center, Braintree Community Art Center, and we have a lot of really awesome people that are there. And I have a favorite, Fred, and Fred, I think you're watching. So Fred loves to explore and try things, and he took some of my advice with this, and I'm going to share some of that story with you. He had an aha moment, and I really like that. I think the biggest influencer in my life was my dad. And I think I mentioned it before. He was an art teacher. He taught for a long time. He taught all grade levels. But one of the things that he was really known for was his whimsical, funny caricatures that he would do of people that would retire. And he would come up with these really awesome images and pictures and all of that. So my dad did that when I was really young, and I really enjoyed seeing him do that, and I kind of caught on a little bit with that. So when I was really young, I think one of the other influencers in my life was Disney. I would love to see the animation. I was curious about it. It made me laugh. It brought me joy. It scared me. So some of the animations and cartoons that were done with Disney, especially Mickey Mouse, so simple. And then that goes to Charles Schulz, Peanuts, right? I think the Charlie Brown character and the Snoopy character were my absolute favorites because they're so simple, really, really, really simple. And that really helped out. So I've got two more influencers that some of you might remember, some of you have no idea what I'm talking about. But one of the earliest memories I have was watching Bozo. All right, so Bozo the Clown, he was on TV, and he had this lion that would come into the audience, and his job was to draw animals out of the kids' names. So if you go onto YouTube, you can actually find some of these little quips that he did. So for example, this little girl, Joy, shows up and he writes Joy on the piece of paper, and all of a sudden this music, da, 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 and he draws and the kids are counting down and it's really funny, but he turns Joy into a duck and all the kids are, yay! I think that's the coolest thing, like it was like given a target or given something and then turning it into something. And I thought that was really nice. And the other thing that I remember from television growing up, and this was like early 60s, Captain Bob. And Captain Bob was on television in the mornings, Sunday mornings probably, he was a naturalist, and he drew whatever animals he was talking about that day. And you can also find some of the old clips in YouTube. And for example, he'll talk about the swamp and he'll talk about alligators, and he'll draw an alligator with one crayon. He'll take a black crayon and talk about thick lines, thin lines, very similar to what I do now. So those are some of my influencers way back when. And maybe we'll have some fun, and maybe I can do, you know, the talking lion or something, the drawing lion. There's lots of different, you know, sketching types. There's all kinds of ways that you can sketch. People sketch all over. This is a book that I've shared with lots of people. It's called the Sarah Mitte South of France Sketchbook. And the reason why I love this book is that the book is full of color samples, sketches. These are all tiny. You can see how small the book is. And little bitty thumbnails, little drawings, which are right here. And I find this book to be so beautiful. So people talk about, you know, a sketchbook, there's notes and little buildings, and this is the south of France. And I'm pretty sure she's done recipes and other types of things, but what a beautiful book, you know? And before I knew about Sarah Mitte's book, I was keeping a sketchbook very similar, not as neat as hers. I mean, she published it, and it's just really good. These are just amazing. You know, like the stamp that you had, or so see these sketches? This is how I work. And so when I was doing sketches on my vacation, all of a sudden, I found this book and I said, oh, she's just like me. Well, kind of. But how awesome, you know? Really, really nice. So here's my sketchbook. So this is me. So I'm going to open up to a page that's very similar, but, you know, like, just something simple, you know, like my little notes on how to do something. And I was just chatting with someone just a couple minutes ago, and we were talking about being at a meeting, you know, oops, that way, being at a meeting and not paying attention. Well, I grew up doing this. Like, I grew up sitting in math class and sketching. And I was saying the story about how I remember being in that room at that time, what I did, what I said. Like this is like, my notes are really kind of kooky. The happiest place on earth, blah, 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 blah. I know where I'm sitting right now. You know, this is just so much better than a photograph. It's just so awesome. I wanted to find some of those sketches that I did with the buildings so that you can see that. Anyway, we won't bother you with that too much more. Look. Do I look like Sarah Mitte or what? I should pull up the book and open it up there. But this is a sketchbook, and I keep these little black bound sketchbooks. I've had these for a long time. There are some very favorites of mine. I love sketchbooks with craft paper. They give me such a better look. And I've actually, I don't think I have much in here because I've probably ripped it out and framed most of it. Here we go. These are in color, obviously, but I was using gouache, and we went through gouache with one of, this is World's End, I think. So real quick sketches. It's like a sketchbook. You know, I've got sailing, and I've got all these different things that I'm trying to do. You know, real quick. People say, oh yeah, real quick. But they are. They were really quick, gestural. And that's kind of like what we're talking about when we're talking about sketches and trying to work with that way. So before I go into what we're going to be doing today, I'll just kind of go through this really quickly. I want to go over sketching, how to sketch, what to do, how to do it, you know, like how do I start? And so for that, you might just need some bond paper, you know, quick paper, or a little sketchbook. It doesn't matter what you have. It's, you know, whatever. I have a 2H pencil. So I have the 2H pencil. I have an eraser. I have a black thick marker, pretty exciting. I have other markers and other pencils, but this is the star of the show today. This little teeny, oops, go that way. Looks like a jelly bean. This little teeny tiny crayon, which I've got others that I have that are black, but this is what I love to work with. It really works really nicely with me. So with sketching, and then the next step will be, we'll talk about doing cartooning and caricatures and how simple it could be. You know, some simple little tricks. I have newsprint paper that I can use, and in the front of the desk here, there's some on newsprint, some real quick ones that I did for a demonstration that I wanted to put out there for you. I also have tracing paper. So tracing paper is fun because you can work with tracing paper on top of something, like on top of a drawing or on top of something to make some changes. So I can show you how we can do that. And I have this fun book. Now, you might have magazines or something at home, but this is a stock book. You can find these like in yard sales and stuff. What this is free photography. I won't get in trouble for using these. And I've taken some of these and I've just kind of cut them out for some fun faces. You know, it's just fun, you know, like trying to make it look like you've got it. So the book itself, I'll keep showing you, like there's different types of faces, old people, young people, and I've cut them out of the book just for practice. You know, there's nobody really famous in here, but they're really fun to experiment with. So if you have a magazine at home, you know, like you like Sports Illustrated or Time, or maybe you want to do some political cartoons or something, find some of those, because that's what we're going to be working with. We're going to be playing with that a little bit. So with sketching, I'm going to use just some bond paper. And what I'm going to do with the bond paper is I'm just going to put it on here for now so I can just show you how quickly I can sketch something. I'm going to use my imagination, or I'm going to look at the desk, or whatever you have in front of you. It's a great way to exercise. It's a great way to get started. Okay, so for now, I'm going to look down at my desk. I haven't moved anything, really, no prep or anything. And I'm just going to kind of gesturally place things where things are in this spot. I love these pens. And I'm doing this really lightly. For you, I'm doing a little bit darker because we've got this going. You know, I'm not thinking about composition. I'm not thinking too much about anything. I'm just looking down at my desk and I'm coming up with a sketch. Now I'm going to go into it a little bit deeper, and I'm going to go over it darker with this pencil. I mean, did I say pencil? I did not mean pencil. I really did not. My crayon. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to darken in and not worry about those extra lines that are there. Nobody's going to see them. So this is not a finished. This is a sketch. So notice I'm just kind of darkening in, defining the lines. I'm going to draw these pens. It's funny, the pens are underneath the book, so it looks like a pile. But I'm going to define these maybe a little bit more. And I'm still using my itty bitty pencil here. My crayon. I almost said pencil again. So here's that see-through bag that I keep my art supplies in. And I'm just going to kind of draw that. And you know what's really cool? This is a sketch, right? So there's nothing much here, but I'm just going to kind of indicate where the text is. There's no text in here. And I'm looking at this, and this has stripes. I'm just using the black crayon. Notice how quickly I'm working. And I'm known for being quick. I mean, that's the other thing. Oh, Heidi, how'd you do that? Because that's how I operate. So that's a quick sketch, you know, like it's just fast. It's not anything big. I can go in and add more detail, sitting on a black table, use the side of my crayon, darken it in. So I don't have a cup of coffee in front of me, but what I could do is sketch that cup of coffee in my head. So remember I mentioned that one of the things that you could do every morning, just get one of those white 3x5, you know, little pads of white paper or something, and take that, and then every day, draw that cup of coffee. Seriously. You can say, oh, she's crazy. No, seriously. So if I drew that cup of coffee one day, so here's my cup. I'm just going to quickly sketch. You've got it in front of you. Here's my cup. You know, I've got my coffee. Real quick. Real quick. I'm going to go in there and now I'm going to define it. Make it a little bit defined. And you'll surprise yourself the way that you can make those details come through, and you'll be able to see perspective maybe a little bit better. I can work a little bit with the shadow. So that's coffee cup number 1. And then maybe the next day, here's my piece of paper. The next day, if I put this piece of paper on top of this one, I can still see the coffee cup under there. You can cheat. But maybe this day you've got that flowered coffee cup, or maybe it's a different shape or something. So you have something that you can work with. Maybe there's less coffee in this one, and maybe there's flowers on there. So again, the idea is really lightly draw your lines, and then go into it with that crayon, and you could use a pencil, but you know what happens with a pencil? People erase. We're not looking at erasing. We're just doing quick gestural cartoons. Maybe there's a spill. You know, so every day you work on, so this is day 2, maybe you date it. So keep going and going and going and going. Quick way to sketch. There's no pain at all. How cool is that? Which is going to lead me to my sketching, which is really interesting. So I've been cartooning and sketching and illustrating my whole entire life. I started doing it, like, I think my very first cartoon that I did, I made up this little character that had a hat on, and all it had was its nose, and all the bodies were kind of like, I can't remember, but it was kind of like that. You know, and then you never saw their eyes, you just saw their nose and their mouth. And I made this character probably in middle school. And as can't forget the feet, you know, and then maybe they'd have overalls or whatever. But this was my character. I remember doing it, and I thought he was a farmer, and I put stuff in his mouth. So that was the start. And then I started to realize that, the Charlie Brown character really influenced me, because that is such a simple, that's not Charlie Brown, that's Heidi, right? But that is similar to what Charlie Brown was. And so all of the characters, including Snoopy, I don't know if I can do it, but they were all so simple, like real simple shapes. And I started to work with that. I got asked to do my cartoons for the Girl Scouts for, for the programs and for studies, and I loved doing it. I absolutely loved doing this. I think one of the things was it was my style. And other people would look at it and say, oh, isn't that cute? And I would be like, yeah, that's my style. So what I want to do is share with you how I got to this point where I'm, first of all, really comfortable with my style, But then it was an aha moment that this is what I do. So we all dealt with COVID, sort of, kind of. Some of us are still in that place. But I was teaching at the time, and what happened was I started sketching, and I was encouraging my students to draw. And just as I did before, I said a drawing a day. All I want for you to do is a drawing a day, and then until we get back to normal. So I started drawing and posting on social media. And every day it was a black and white drawing sketch that I posted. I did it for 500 days. I stopped at 500 because first of all, I didn't want to do any more. No, I shouldn't say that. I did want to do more, but it was like I needed a number to end. So what I did is I made a book. And the book is a drawing a day for 500 days. So this is full of 500 sketches from 500 days. So I'm going to show you my sketchbook, the process, and how I went about doing this. The book itself, you know, it's like crazy. There's 500 drawings. And they're in order from when, and this also chronicles COVID, which is kind of cool because there'll be really down moments, but some really happy moments. There's times that I'm out there golfing. There are a lot of masks. Also, there's stuff in here for my students. There's messages to students, to people, you know, we can get through this and everything. So the way that I started doing this is in a big black book. And every day, and I think there's 5 of these big black books. And every day, so it says Volume 4, January 4th, 2021. And so it says, drawings are still happening. Drawings are life, not the same. People are different. Hugs, missing. Heart, I miss them. So every day, I would do a drawing a day. So these are done. Like everybody's, how did I do it every day? You know, how did you think of it? Look at this little girl picking her nose. But how did I do that? You know, I got up and I had a thought and then I just drew it. There's only one day out of this whole thing that I didn't like what I did, and I don't have it with me, but it was a Queen Anne's lace, and it looked like a piece of cheese, and I just didn't like the drawing. I didn't think it was effective, so I did it a different drawing of the same thing. But this book is about hope and joy, and I just love looking at it. So these are the actual sketches, all right? So that's there. And now what I'm doing is I'm doing one a week. So I started back up in January because I got a lot of people saying, Heidi, will you start back doing, I miss your drawings, will you start back doing it? So I'm going to show you how I do this. So this is my book for this month, and it says January 5th, I'm back. So what I did is I have a template. Oops, here we go. And these are now called Friendly Friday. The others were called Corona Art Challenge. So these are Friendly Friday. So every Friday, I would put a drawing in the book. This isn't here because I was on vacation, and that drawing is right here. But they're all in here. All of the different drawings. Here's my golf girls. Yay, JV. So they're all in here. How I do this is quite interesting. I would go to a blank page. I will put this square underneath the blank page so I know where I'm drawing. So I can see through it. I can see that square, and I don't know if the camera can pick this up or not, but there is a black square. Yes, you can see it. I can see it. It's right there. And that's my template where I'm going to, what the area is that I'm going to draw in. And throughout all the books, I would use a Sharpie marker, and I would use like a fine point marker, and I also have artist pens. I'm looking to do it with a permanent marker because when I erase them, I don't want it to smudge. I'm going to tell you a secret. This book is horrible. I mean, it's not the same quality as the other one, so maybe I should do testers before I start the next book. But the ink doesn't dry. It's really weird. It's a different texture, so make sure you touch the paper. I can just feel it. This has nice tooth to it, and this one here, it's kind of shiny, sheeny. So that's why I got another set of markers. So the way that I would start is I would take my pencil, and for the longest time I was using golf pencils. The reason why I use golf pencils is because they're easy to travel with. And as I said, I have this little travel bag, and I would have that and work with it. So for right now, my idea for this sketch is to draw me sketching this. You know, so this will be my drawing for Friday. So I'm going to just quickly, notice I'm doing it quickly, and I'm going to, I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm just real quickly, I'm going to draw a sketchbook. I don't worry about the pencil lines. And I'm going to, my right hand, I'm holding this pencil. Ah, this is awesome. It'll be like the BCAM cartoon. We love it. And I'm going to have my hand, and maybe I'll have the little camera in the background saying, action. So that's a mess. I don't know if the camera can see it, but it's really light. And that's the way it's going to work. So I'm going to go into this. I'm going to date it, grab my marker. So I've got a fine point, I've got a brush, I've got a 0.7. So I'm going to take this pen, and I'm going to write today's date, May 1, 2024. And then I'm going to go into this, and I'm going to call it Funny Fridays. I'm just so excited about this. So Friendly Friday. So here I go. I'm going to define what it is that I'm doing. I've drawn myself so many times that I've kind of got it down to a science here. So I'm just going to add my ears, my hair. People ask, how long does it take for you to do these? You know, sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes it takes, it depends upon the texture. All right, I'll hold this up so you can see how quickly, just real quick, look at me, ha! You know? So I've done that, and now I'm going to go back in. I'm going to draw my hand. So what do you all see at home that distinguishes me as me? It's the stripes. I wear stripes all the time. So what I'm going to do is make sure I show you how I can draw the stripes. Oh, we'll put the big BCAM sign behind it. Oh, this is going to be awesome. So if I goof, I just draw right back on top of it. It's not like a big deal. I'm going to take my pencil, and then I'm going to go. And I have at times I've been able to go in and edit sometimes. Like I'll take some white out because whiteout doesn't show up when I post these. Like I just kind of messed up the hand a little bit. I'm not spending a lot of time. Let's put BCAM in the back. All right, real quick. So I just did, notice how fast this was. I'm a little bit too quick. I love to put kooky borders around the outside and stuff, so I'm going to grab my brush, pen, and all I'm going to do is make the stripes on my shirt. That's important to help define me. And I'm going to draw the sketchbook. And I'm going to take my pen and just kind of scribble in the sketchbook. Draw the pen. I will be posting this. It might not be the best right now, but all right, this is so much fun. So here we go. I framed it, made it in the little box. So what do I do next? I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to erase away all those pencil lines. So this is where it didn't work with some of the pens that I have, because what happens is that it smudges when I go to, take the eraser. So what do I do next? I take this and I photograph it with my phone, of all things, and I turn it black and white. I get rid of all the color, and I bump up the contrast. I crop it as a square, and then I post it. I post it onto Instagram. Can I say that? So I post it, and I put it out there. And I have a bunch of followers that look for my sketches every day or during the week. So here's the book. So think about this. I did one a day for 500 days. All right? And it's all about music and art. It's that same style. Let's see how many striped shirts I have on in here. I'm not kidding. It's mostly every time there's a picture of me, I either have polka dots or stripes on. But it doesn't matter. There's the stripes. I'm golfing right there. So in most cases, they're quick drawings. And the reason why they're quick drawings is I don't want to spend too much time on it. They're not realistic. It's kind of like me, It sounds goofy. So what I did is I sold these books, and I took $5 from every single book, and I gave 3 art scholarships. Isn't that awesome? To 3 of my students. So I think this is great. So anyway, that's me. That's what I do. That's how I sketch and draw. I don't add color. What happened during COVID when I posted them, parents would send me the pictures that the kids would do, that they colored them in. They printed them out and colored them in. So it was really fun to see a bunch of those. And I thought that was really awesome. So any questions on that? Don't hesitate, on YouTube, down at the comments section, you can ask me some questions about how did you do it, blah, 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 blah. I'm happy to answer this for you, okay? So let's get into the next phase, all right? So the next phase that we're going to be doing is caricatures and cartooning. So as I said, I have been doing this for a long time. So there's lots of ways and lots of tricks and lots of ways to think about it. But one of the big things that you want to think about, a caricature is a way of emphasizing characteristics of a person. Say it nicely. Some people, you've been to Disney or you've been to the circus or even in Paris walking the streets, there's someone who will draw you for a certain amount of money. And there's a set style. Like there's this awesome artist from Braintree who, I think it's Jim Hunt? Yes, Jim. I think it's Jim. But he graduated from Braintree High, and he actually has made his own living doing caricatures and cartooning. And it's just kind of fun. It's fun to do something fun. So if you're stressing over it, don't stress. Just try it out and see what happens. So I told Fred, remember I talked about the class that we have in the open studios at the Art Center on Thursdays. And Fred wants to draw. He wants to learn. He wants to try everything, and he's awesome. So I said, Fred, he goes to the cafe. I said, Fred, draw your friends. When you're sitting in the cafe, get out your sketchbook and draw your friends. And he did it. How cool is that? There's been many times that I've sat there and I drew my students in the class, or you just sketch it. You're sketching. So that's really important to make sure that you can do that. So what I'm going to do is just talk a little bit about characteristics, caricatures, and what you might do. And I can pull up a picture of someone. So one of the best ways of thinking about it is you want to emphasize. Do you have to know how to draw lips and noses and ears? It helps, but you can make up your own. So I was talking about the character, you know, like Snoopy and Charlie Brown. They're very simple, simple shapes. So what? I don't know if you remember this guy, but Mr. Magoo, remember Mr. Magoo? Mr. Magoo was a character who was blind, and he bumbled, and he always got lost, and this was like 60s and 70s, and I enjoyed it very much. It was kind of fun to watch. But my dad pointed out that Mr. Magoo was only made up of the letter C. Don't think about it, the letter C. So this is a great way to try to learn how to draw features and everything. So this is it. I'm using that fancy black crayon. So if I take and draw a backwards letter C, we get a schnoz. We get the part of the nose. And then we've got another C. And then we have the top of his hat. And then we have the brim of his hat. And then we have the other part that goes like this. Again, I'm just drawing C's. The chin, his ear, his this. I haven't done anything else. I'm just drawing the letter C's. It doesn't really look like Mr. Magoo right now, but you get it. You get what I mean. So you can see C, 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 C. So a fun exercise for you is take the letter C and come up with your own character. So if I made a small C, you know, I've got the eyes that were this, and maybe the mouth. Another C, got curly hair. You see? You see? Oh, I'm just cracking myself up here. So you just want to take and work with that. Which brings me to, remember the crazy lion, right? Talked about the lion. If he took and he wrote out a name, I'm going to do Heidi. And what can I turn that into? You know, if I take this and I start to work it. So maybe I take this and turn it into a dinosaur. You know, so you can have a lot of fun with your shapes. Simple, simple, simple. So let's get back to the caricature. So, eyes, nose, mouth. I didn't go to school for the science of caricatures. I just have my own style that I have. And eyes are the most important thing. So a lot of times, you know, if you have your eyes, you've got this, you can add your eyelashes. Look how simple I'm doing this. I've got the pupil, tear duct, a simple eye, not too crazy. Side view, you've got your eye, it's like the letter V. You've got the eyes and the eyelashes. So if I was going to do something side view, okay? And then for a nose, everybody hates to draw noses. Noses and ears. So again, simple lines. Real simple, right? Upturned nose. We got an upturned nose. We can do all kinds. We got to put freckles on there, obviously. We've got the noses. Does this look like a Picasso? And then, well, how about lips? So we got the top lips. You got the top lip. Add the bottom lip. A thin top lip. And the bottom lip. Want to connect the dots? Dun, 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 dun. But how much fun? Just this alone is really fun. If I were to add color to this or to go into it, could probably use the crayons. I've done a few things. The ones on the front of the desk here, I just drew them out in black crayon and then I added pastels to it to make it work. So here we go. What I'm going to do is do a caricature. And I should use both sides. That's another thing. You don't want to waste materials. So I don't have this planned. I'm just going to grab a person out of here. Oh dear Lord. All right. There's this goofy guy right here. I'm going to draw the guy with the glasses. And I'm going to make a caricature of him. The reason why I'm going to do that is because, first of all, he's got a great chin. He's got those glasses on. And I'm just going to do it really quickly. So the first thing I see when I look at this is that dramatic, huge chin. I can see his nose, the glasses, the way his eyes are, the gray hair and the big forehead. So I'm picking up on qualities that I'm going to look at for this. I'm going to use my fancy, look at how small it's getting, little black crayon. I'm not going to use a pencil or anything. And I'm going to get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is, the big thing with caricatures is that little body, big head. I don't know why, but it works. And then when I do caricatures, because I followed with my dad's footsteps, I like to put a border around and put information on the inside that talks about that person's life. I have done, I want to say 100 of these, so I love it. And I'll say, please send me a list of all the things that this person does or is interested in. And then I put words and I put images and I put things into it to make it work. So let's take this guy, and I'm standing here doing it. I'm just going to real quickly sketch out this big, huge chin. Oh, I love this chin. And then I'm going to kind of indicate where his ears are. I've got this body. He's got a plaid shirt on. And I don't know what, he's holding onto a pipe. We get this pipe going here. All right, so this is the start. I want to really emphasize this chin, and he's got kind of jowls, so I'm going to pull that up even more. And he's got these ears that are kind of big, big, huge eyebrows, and then his hair. Can you see him coming to life a little bit? I'm going to have him wave. And I tend to jump all over the place when I do things because I don't want to get bored. His glasses, I look at this, they're lined up with, they're hanging on the edge of his nose. That gives me like a starting point here. And he's got this big nose. I've got his eyes. Do you see him coming to life here? Right? And then I'm going to take his mouth. And I've got those jowls. So here I go, adding more detail. I love his eyes. If you can leave that little bit of light in his eye, like that highlight that's going to be there, and I'm going to take this and this. And then you got this hair. Make his head even bigger. So, wrinkle lines, nose. Can you see him coming to life in front of you? How much fun is that? And that was just with this pencil. If I wanted to start adding some color or wanted to start adding things, I can start to go into it a little bit more. You know, make his glasses blue and, you know, add some other things inside the picture. I'm going to go back into his eyebrows here. It's funny. He's got wrinkles. He's got wrinkles in his eyes. He's got smile lines. All right. So, I think I've had fun. Have you had fun? I've had a blast. I don't know about you guys. I got to use my crayons. I'm really excited about that. So what did we do today? Well, we talked about sketching. I did a lot of talking, sorry. But a lot of sketching, how to draw, how to have fun with what you're doing, maybe how to do some cartooning and some real quick, rendering. You learned a little bit about me and how quick I draw, so that's one thing. So again, if you have any questions, this is like, BCAM does this because I'm a crazy person and I love doing this, So go to YouTube, leave your comments, contact BCAM, tell them, give them the big thumbs up. Also, if you want to come in and sit and I'll draw you, we could do that. How's that? I like doing portraits on the serious side. Am I good at it? Not really, but I love to do it. So if you get in touch, stay in touch with us. I want you to keep drawing. I want you to have fun. Okay? So signing off, Heidi Hurley. Make sure you get out there, create, and have a blast. Thanks a lot. We'll see you later.